We've got the top 10 fantasy baseball drops coming up next on Beat the Odds. Don't go anywhere. Hello sports fans, welcome back to another episode of Beat the Odds. We are going to go over the top 10 drops at this point here in the fantasy baseball season. If you like this type of content, don't be afraid to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and ring that notification bell so that way you can be notified whenever we drop an episode. Now, as a quick reminder, we are taking a look at players who are rostered in roughly 60% of leagues or more that can be considered droppable based on their performance to this point in the season. With that said, let's get started on number 10, Ryan Helsley, 90% owned. The last 2 weeks, he's pitched 6.2 innings, 2 wins, 2 saves, 8 strikeouts, 5.4 ERA, 1.8 whip. Now, again, I should reiterate, Helsley is on the list, but is the least likely player out of this list that I would drop. His StatCast peripherals really speak to why he's still an elite pitcher. That being said, Helsley's walk rate is a bit too high, and when he gets hit pretty hard. Plus, Giovanni Gallegos is poaching some of Helsley's saves that could present a problem for the rest of the season if this trend continues. Let's go to number 9, KRIS BRYANT, 81% owned. Last 14 days, he's got 6 runs, 3 runs batted in, 154 average. Those who are banking on a resurgence year for KRIS BRYANT have been quite disappointed. He's got only 3 homers and 106 at-bats at Coors Field. I feel I could do better than that. He's still an on-base threat here, but we may be looking at the end of Bryant's usefulness in fantasy, especially if this trend continues. Let's go over to number 8, Michael Harris II, 84% owned. Last 2 weeks, he's got 4 runs, 1 homer, 3 runs batted in, 1 stolen base, 132 average. He's the reigning NL Rookie of the Year, but he's stuck hard in that sophomore slump. The talent is obviously there. He's got a max exit velocity in the 93rd percentile, sprint speed in the 87th percentile, but Harris chases too many bad pitches, leading to strikeouts and poor contact. The hope is he busts out soon, as his ceiling really is as high as anyone's in the major leagues. Let's move to number 7, WILLSON CONTRERAS, 90% owned. In the last 2 weeks, he's got 2 runs, 2 homers, 7 runs batted in, 1 stolen base, 111 average. He's mired in a hitting slump, and he's been a bit unlucky. Contreras' struggles is really one of the reasons why the Cardinals are stumbling out of the gates. His StatCast profile suggests a rebound, so I would really only consider dropping Wilson if there is a big catcher that's still on the waiver wire, like an Elias Diaz, for example. Over to number 6, Gunnar Henderson, 71% owned. In the last 2 weeks, he's got 4 runs, 1 homer, 6 runs batted in, 1 stolen base, 278 average. He's starting to show signs of life at the plate, and he's flashing elite walk rate still, but he is still a bit of a ways out from being a rosterable player. In a month, if he can hit in the 270s and the 800 OPS for 30 straight days, I think that might be enough to convince me to take him off this list. Let's go to number 5, Blake Snell, 77% owned. In the last 2 weeks, he's pitched 9 innings with 11 strikeouts, 7 ERA, 1.67 whip. Snell is really struggling to find the plate this season, and he's being hit hard when he does. He's still got a quality fastball, just a middling K rate though, so it's only leading to some success at the plate in that sense. Blake Snell has always been volatile by nature. He's very inconsistent from outing to outing, but those inconsistencies are really leading me to consider dropping him off my rosters this season. Over to number 4, we have Jake Cronenworth, 71% owned. In the last 2 weeks, he's got 6 runs, 3 homers, 4 runs batted in, 200 average. Yes, he's an all-star, but really last year so was Santiago Espinal. Yes, he hits high in the San Diego lineup, but that hasn't really translated into production yet for Jake Cronenworth. And I believe that once the team starts to fire on all cylinders, I could really see Jake Cronenworth sliding to the bottom half of the order, which may be even more of a detriment to his fantasy season. Over to number 3, we have Andrés Giménez, 73% owned. In the last 2 weeks. He's got a run, 1 run batted in, 1 stolen base, 175 average. Now, Giménez was a popular mid-round draft selection here this season, but he's struggled to post any type of fantasy relevancy to this point in the season. One look at his StatCast reveals why he's in the bottom 10% in 7 of the 12 categories. That is just absolutely abysmal. Although we may see 20 stolen bases from him here this year like he did last year, I think that the 371 OP on-base percentage and the 837 OPS that he posted last year, including the 17 homers that he hit, are completely off the table. We're not going to see those type of numbers from him here this season. Let's go to number 2, Jose Abreu, 61% owned in the last 2 weeks. He's got 5 runs, 1 homer, finally, 4 runs batted in, 195 average. What I said about Kris Bryant above there at number 9 rings true as well for Jose Abreu. He has 0, count that, 0 home runs at home in Minute Maid Ballpark. Really, in that park, you just need to put it in the air and it's going to go out. The biggest difference, though, between Jose Abreu and Kris Bryant, Abreu is 36, Bryant's still just 31. So I really think that Abreu is at risk of not being able to rebound based on his age. Last but not least, at number 1, we have ALEK MANOAH, 85% owned in the last 2 weeks. He's posted 8.2 innings pitched, 11 strikeouts, 6.23 ERA, 1.73 WHIP. Now, before I dive too much into ALEK MANOAH, I want to make sure you guys understand I'm a die-hard Jays fan, have been since 1989, so it really pains me to put Manoah in this position on this list. But let's be real, if you currently own Manoah in any one of your fantasy leagues, I think it's safe to say that you aren't leading that league. He's been that much of a drain on fantasy teams. Manoah really has to slow down those mind games and chirping that he's doing with a lot of other teams and players. Especially until he starts to figure out a way to right the ship here in his own game, because he doesn't have nearly as much clout now as he did when he was pitching well. And that's going to do it here for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it here. If you did, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so that way you don't miss another episode. But that's going to do it here for us. We are going to sign off for now, but we are going to catch you guys on our next episode.